Hello, this is Dr. Dave Maslock talking about reciprocity.com. The E is spelled with a 3. And in this particular video, I really wanted to talk to you about finding your writing identity and voice. This is part of my Monday Write series, where I put out really helpful things that hopefully are going to help anybody that's interested in writing. I'm a professor of innovation strategy and entrepreneurship, and I do a lot of writing. And this is just all my experience and actually how to, things that are useful and sort of talking about things that are related to writing, like tactics and things like that. So in this video, I'm going to talk to you about what I mean by writing identity or your voice, and then go into some exercises and sort of think about, how you can actually dig deeper into becoming a better writer and identifying that writing voice, right? And it takes a long time to actually get to that. As an academic writer, I've been doing this 15 years now. I started in 2003. I plan to keep doing this for a lot longer. It's kind of an interesting endeavor. I'm having a lot of fun. And I feel that at this point, for the last, I'd say, 5 years, I've been able to find my writing voice, and I feel very comfortable with what I'm doing and sort of building out this particular this exercise. So what do I mean by writing identity? Well, this is the thing that this is your persona, or this is how you write, and this is how you sort of view the world, and you feel very comfortable with telling people about how you view the world in your writing style and what you're writing all about. So I'm interested in organizational learning, and what that is how companies improve over time, how things improve over time, as well as technological innovation. So that's part of why I'm doing Reciprocity. You can watch some of the older videos about what that's all about. It's not really about a passion, or it's not about doing the thing that you love. I think those kind of ideas are they're sort of mismatched in terms of thinking about yourself as a writer. There's a lot of different things that people do as a writer that it's not really a passion. For example, business writing, for example, writing about the garbage industry, for example. That's not going to be your passion, but you can actually create a whole identity, a whole persona around these particular things that you're writing about, and it can keep you going for a long time. It's about finding a little ember and sort of stoking the fires to keep that growing until it becomes a big, huge sort of bushfire, right? Or a forest fire. It's not about sort of thinking about the thing that you're really passionate about at that moment or that time. It's not going to carry you through. It's kind of like a romantic relationship, right? So with romantic relationships, they only last a month at a time, but it's thinking about the sort of relationship that you build. It's a friendship that you have, a little friendship, and it builds and builds and builds, and pretty soon you have a very long sort of strong relationship, a sort of 50-year marriage with this particular thing, and you couldn't think of yourself doing anything else but doing that one particular thing, and you are absolutely comfortable with finding that particular identity, or being part of that particular thing that you're building together. And that's really what it's about, and really what thinking about your writing identity is about sort of digging down and identifying yourself. How can you sort of carry this forward in a long run, and how it's not just about how you recognize yourself, right? That's the important thing, but how other people are recognizing what you're doing and understanding what you're doing and viewing what you're doing. The identity part is really crucial in terms of how other people are viewing you. It's not just about yourself, and that takes a long time to getting to that point where you actually people are starting to recognize you for that particular thing, whatever that is. Maybe it is garbage writing, or writing about the garbage industry. I don't know. Or maybe it's writing about love or something like that. But that just takes a long time. It's not going to be passionate in any sort of degree in, it's going to be really not glamorous at a lot of points, but you have to sort of push through that and get to the point where it actually becomes this huge big thing, this sort of force fire, where and most people understand what you're about and what you're doing, and you understand what you're about and what you're doing, and you could do that repeatedly over time and sort of enjoy the process. It's not, it's not this sort of passionate thing, but it's about the sort of enjoyment and just being really, really content with what you're doing. So how do you do that? What are some exercises? What are things that you should be doing? So first one is you should be writing a lot, and just writing about whatever it is you're interested in. That is really important. You should be writing, at least 5 days a week. Maybe if you can't get to 4 days a week, and you should be doing that. It will take you years of doing that by the time you actually start feeling very comfortable with that. Probably took me 5-6 years by the time I started feeling very, very comfortable with what I was interested in, and I can have a sort of conversation about it. Now it took me another 5 years beyond that, where I was starting to feel really comfortable with it. And now at this point, it's 15 years, and hopefully in the next 5 more years, I'm going to feel even more comfortable about talking about technological innovation, for example, or talking about organizational learning. I'm going to I already know a lot of people in these fields, but, hopefully I'm going to be able to know a lot more people, and they're going to know what I'm about, and, we can carry on a conversation. We can sort of understand the assumptions that each other's arguments or which each other persons are talking about, and that's going to get you a long ways. The other thing that you should be doing, and that's part of it, is just talking about what you're interested in. You probably are not going to talk about it sort of incessantly, but you will have conversations about it, and when it comes up naturally, and you should be able to be fairly natural about that. For the first probably year, 2 years of sort of writing and being that writer, it's not going to feel natural in any sort of way. But eventually it's going to become natural, and you're going to feel okay with that. This whole reciprocity project, if you look at my older videos, was not really comfortable with that. And I'm becoming more comfortable with the idea and telling people, and other people are starting to recognize it. And, every once in a while I get an email about it from academics and stuff like that are interested in the idea. And that just takes a long time, right? That just takes a long time. It takes a lot of time and repetition of building up that confidence over time. And this sort of relates to the third thing, is you're going to wonder a lot and sort of dream about it, and think about it. And this is kind of related to the fourth thing, is just embracing the particular topic and just, grinding it out. That it's going to be a difficult task. It's going to be really, really tricky, but you have to embrace that sort of difficulty level with it, because that's where growth is happening, and that's actually where you're getting better and developing as a writer. It's developing as a person as well, and you're really, really becoming an excellent, and if you sort of push that through and you continue on doing that, you actually become much more better as a writer, and you can actually have a better conversation with other people and sort of have a relatable conversation, because you're pushing through these things that are really difficult. And then the fifth thing that I think is so important is being able to find multiple angles to attack the same problem. So again, I think about technological innovation and organizational learning, how things improve over time. There's many different angles to think about this, right? So one is sort of a methodological and understanding the different methodologies. I was really fascinated in that, and I do think about sort of statistical techniques and stuff, but then there's also the design element of thinking about how to actually capture that effect and understand that. That's why I'm creating reciprocity. It's actually difficult to capture these particular effects, and really difficult. So you need some platform like this where you can actually jump in and be a person that's very, very helpful at the same time and help out other people, but be able to get access to internal workings of an organization that we can't get currently at this moment. You should be able to read all sorts of different books and things from all sorts of different angles. I was reading stuff about complexity. I was reading stuff about financial markets, multi-sided markets. I was reading, and this was just this week, right? I was also reading stuff about the sharing economy and marketing. Just just all over the place. It's really interesting, fascinating stuff that all relates, and you can sort of put this stuff together and make sense of it. And that's really what you need to do, is be able to understand it from multiple directions. And once you start thinking about all these directions, you will begin to realize that, I've been doing this for 15 years at this moment. I've been doing the Reciprocity Project for 2 years at this moment. I can continue on doing this stuff for a long, long time. And that's because I'm just scratching the surface. I'm just kind of getting to the point, and you will get there too. You'll get to the point where you'll just start feeling that you're understanding something, and I know scholars that have been doing this for 70 years, and they still feel like they're still just getting into this sense of wonder and discovery and things like that. And that's really what you have to get to as a writer, is being able to get to that point where you can continue on to work at it for 70 years, right? It takes a long time. And to be able to get to that point, that's a really exciting point where you can actually drive forward. And it's not about sort of finding that passion or anything like that, but finding something that is workable. That means, you have to make money at it, right? In the long run, figuring out how you're going to make money at that in the long run. And to get there, you probably have to do it as a side or sort of a thing that you just do for fun. But B, just being able to do it for write and sort of produce content and stuff like that for years, that just takes a lot of time and effort. It's not going to be an easy task by any sort of means in sort of the passionate or follow the thing that you love, but is much more along the lines of, growing a little ember and growing it into something that's really big and powerful, and a big force fire thing that basically is indestructible at that moment. And that's really what you have to sort of think about and sort of find your own writing identity, finding your writing voice, is thinking about the thing that you can stoke, that little ember, that little idea, and you can stoke and keep pushing forward with that. It's going to take a lot of work. It's not easy. And anything that anybody that says that any of this stuff is easy, it's, they're probably not telling you the truth. It takes a long time. It takes a lot of work. Anything that I've done in any domain, it's taken a lot of work to get there. And you just have to realize that and embrace it and have fun with it. That's just part of the journey. And then once you get there, you're like, wow, this is actually pretty fun. It's kind of exciting. And that's what you have to think about. That's how you have to get to that moment, right? So that's where I want you to go. That's where you should sort of think about your writing identity. Is get to the point where you have an ember and you can grow it to a force fire. And if you follow those sort of steps that I pointed out, or sort of key things pointed out, just writing a lot and repeatedly for a long time, talking about it sort of naturally, wondering about it, embracing the sort of difficulty of the struggle of getting there, and then thinking about things in multiple angles, you'll get there. It just takes a long time, and you will start to build that writing identity and know what you're about. So that's it. If you like this video, make sure you do an old thumbs up, as well as you will watch some of the other videos. I do appreciate it. Take care and have a wonderful day. Bye.